The DaVinci Institute was started in 1997 as a futurist think tank. We decided early on that we didn't want to just talk about the future, we wanted to help invent it. So as a consequence, we spent a lot of time working with the inventors, the entrepreneurs, kind of the revolutionary thinkers, to help them get their ideas off the ground. Da Vinci was very much a futurist, a man ahead of his time. And we're all going to be living in the future. Tomorrow is the future, so we're going to be living in the future, but we don't spend much time thinking about it. What music that we listen to today will people still be listening to 100 years from now? Is music still going to come from speakers? Maybe it'll just appear in space somehow. Maybe music will just appear in our heads. In 1972, I was a young engineering student at South Dakota State University. I was told I had to take a course in slide rules. I asked my professor, do I have to take this course in slide rules? And he basically says, yeah, all engineers need to take a course in slide rules. Now the engineers at Hewlett-Packard and Texas Instruments at the time that were working on next generation calculators, and calculators were available then, they were pretty expensive. This was clearly, in my mind, it was the end of the slide rule era, and it was the beginning of the calculator era. Now when I looked at this, I said, well, there's this kind of this space in the middle there that I thought, well, this is kind of an interesting naming opportunity. And the name I came up with this is Maximum Freud. Why would you call it Maximum Freud? Well, this is the time we spend most of our time on the couch talking to a shrink trying to figure out what's going on, because it's a time of lots of chaos, and it's also a time of great opportunity. Here's the important part though. This isn't just about slide rules and calculators. This is about every single technology out there, because all technologies end. Every single technology we have. Books are a technology, will someday go away. Calculators will go away. Computers will go away. And they'll be replaced by something else. I'm not one that goes out and advocates the future. Say that we have to go this way because the new technology is going to be much better. I don't think we're going to create any utopian society. With each new technology we create more problems, but it's moving that direction and there's no stopping it. Let's go back to the time of the ancient Greeks. When the Greeks were around, we had several famous Greek mathematicians. We had people like Archimedes, we had Pythagoras, Euclid, several famous Greek mathematicians. But when the Romans came around, we didn't have any famous Roman mathematicians. Now this isn't because the Romans were dumber than the Greeks. It was because they used Roman numerals. Roman numerals are kind of a stupid numbering system, and so that prevented them from doing any higher math. What systems are we using today that are the equivalent of Roman numerals that are preventing us from doing great things? In the United States, we have a half-implemented metric system. We're buying 3.2-liter car engines and putting in quarts of oil. Just doesn't make good sense. Let's look at a trend line for the communications world, though. Think about selling the first fax machine. How tough was it to sell that first one? Saying, oh yeah, but other people have to have them before it'll work. One thing I like to say is that the next big thing was always invented over 25 years ago. We just celebrated the 35th anniversary of the internet. The cell phone was invented in 1973. But whenever you get to cutting edge breakthrough technology, it always takes at least an entire generation for it to take off. Companies today are very interested in what works for them. They aren't interested in what the other companies are buying. This age of hyper-individuality becomes real interesting. We have the bloggers, the podcasters, the vidcasters, it's the video bloggers, and they're creating content rapidly, and it's given a voice to millions of people. And when millions of people start talking, it can change things rather rapidly. What it's doing is it's changing the tempo of business, so things happen quicker. Changes will happen quicker. Companies will emerge from nowhere to become giant corporations seemingly overnight, and at the same time large companies can just disappear overnight.
I'm interested in knowing what are the critical factors, success factors to introduce new products, in your opinion?
I think it's very critical. You know, in the past, you'd run full-page ads in newspapers, run television ads, that sort of thing. Right now, the younger generation coming up is being much more influenced by the opinions of other people online. I think that's one of the critical success factors. 43% of all people that are polled say that they have difficulty making decisions from sheer data overload. They have too much information. Now, when you hear that statistic, it's very clear that the type of products we need to create for the future are ones that take less time, ones that are simple to use, ones that help think for us, ones that help make decisions for us. I'll tell you a couple different investment opportunities today. This one here is what we call the flying lawnmower. This is a real good investment because houses in the future we're going to start growing lawn on the sides of our houses, and we can start mowing it with this type of lawnmower. Hedges we might grow 100 feet, 200 feet tall, and we can still trim them. 3 bold predictions for what the future is going to hold for us. One of the big technologies coming out is WiMAX. It's like Wi-Fi on steroids. WiMAX is a technology that sends out a signal 30 miles in each direction. Our income tax system is on the verge of collapse. I'm predicting that the income tax system will be replaced. And the last prediction I'm going to make is that we're headed towards the time with the end of wires. We pride ourselves in being able to push the envelope, thinking about the future. And what better way to do that than through the inventors that are kind of the cutting edge people that are creating the technologies that will define what tomorrow is. It's a fabulous environment. It's a very creative environment to be in. That's the kind of world that I like to live in.